Hello friends, once again you're with a lonesome gamer, and we're continuing our session of Talisman. That's the second turn we're entering now, and the party is in Lorien, right there. So, and at the beginning of a turn it's the organization phase, so that is when you can organize your party and you can untap your characters. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I turn them back, and that simply means that they are now allowed to do new actions in this following turn. Further on, I could bring a character into play during this phase, but remember, it has to be a character which home site is either in the region I am or in an adjacent region. But there is actually this guy here, Train, and he has no home site at all. So I could bring him in here in Lorien. I can play this guy, and now you can see I have here used 10 mind points or influence points to control Elrond, and I had to use 9 influence points to control Tyne. So now actually I used 19 of my 20 points. Just by the way, here the wizard, I don't have to pay any points to control him, because he's kind of my avatar. He represents me. If this guy is killed, game is over. The great thing is he's got an additional influence of 10, so he might, for example, control Train, and then I got more points left for new characters that I can bring into play. So right now I'm thinking about splitting up, because if I just move around with one party, I might make maybe 2 or 3 points per turn, but that would not be enough to get the 25 points I need after the 7th turn. So I guess I will have to split up sometimes, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do this right now or if I should wait maybe for another character to come into play and split up then. Would be a little safer maybe. I have to think about that. Okay, I made a plan for that turn actually, and I decided to split up these two here, Palando and Adrazar. They build one party, and they're going here to the city of the Woodmen, and these are actually these people here, and they're gonna try to influence them so that the Woodmen help the side of the heroes in the fight against Sauron, so that would give them some victory points. The other two guys, Tyne and Elrond, they're going to Urbidu. It's this place here. And they're trying to get this sort of bravery. Yeah. Okay. So then I need a second miniature, because now I have 2 parties. And I take this guy. Well, actually I think it's Gimli, but in our case it's the party here with Trine. Well, they don't look that different, do they? Okay, so we now place them here. And so the first one's moving is this party. And they're moving here to the city of the wood people. So simply like this. By the way, after the organization phase, this is now called movement phase. And they're using the so-called side path. This is this movement rule when you go from a haven to a normal location. This is a border hold, and they have to travel through 2 wilderness and a borderland to get there. So basically they have to travel here through this region, which is well, near the Misty Mountains, then the Anduin Vale, and then here Western Mirkwood. And they're gonna draw 2 resource cards here. So let's see what we got. Drugu. Okay, what does that mean? Playable in a hero company during your organization phase if you discard a ranger character from your hand. All characters in the company this turn receive +2 prowess against attack keyed to wilderness and during combat at ruins and lairs. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that one. And the second card will be that one. That says Secret Entrance. Beautiful picture, the scene at Moria. Playable only at the end of the organization phase. May not be played on a company moving to a site in a dark domain. Tap a sage in the company and no hazard creatures keyed to the site may be played on the company. Well, that might be interesting. Maybe I'm going to play that next turn, but I'm not sure yet. So, and then we're going to draw the hazard cards. And there's a white 2 in this gray colored space. So we're drawing 4 times these number. This is again an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 2 more. And then we find the 2 worst cards. Now we have a hazard limit of 2 because there are just 2 characters in our company. So let's see what we got here. Okay, like the crash of a battering ram. You play that on a strike. This is always interesting. That's a short event that would make attacks on freeholds more dangerous. This is playable. These are, well, kind of raiders, and they are playable in a wilderness or in a borderland, so that's possible. Well, this is a nameless thing. This is really a bad one, but it's not playable anywhere where they go. This is actually a card we already have in play. So, oops, here we go. Yeah, we have it here already. We could play it again, then this one will be discarded, and because it just stays 3 turns, we have then this card 3 more turns into play, so it might be an idea. This card is a storm. It's just playable if another card is in the game, but this is not the case right away. And that's a very interesting card, rank upon rank. That actually is also playable, and that's that makes the attacks of man stronger. So, and that is also a great card. The Plague of the, well, kind of Plague of the Dead. So, I'm wondering what to do. So I guess because there are already men here, I'm gonna play this card first, rank upon rank. And that says all non-agent man attacks receive +1 prowess and +1 strikes. If Doors of Night is in play, oh well, you see the camera, I don't like that. All giant attacks also receive these bonuses. Discard this card when such an affected attack is defeated. Okay, so I think I'm gonna play that card. And then these cards are all discarded. And then this card is played. And it says 2 strikes with 8. So, but now because of this card, it's 3 strikes with 1. You have +1 prowess and +1 strikes. So, actually I'm thinking about cancelling this attack. I wonder if I got something here. I'm not sure. Oh, it's not that easy actually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. So this card here, it's kind of a Bane or something. It's a sorcery. So the wizard can do this, and if he plays that, an attack against the party of the wizard is cancelled, and the wizard have to roll with a -2 check against corruption. Corruption is a new factor of this game that I haven't explained yet. If a player gains items, like for example this sword here, then he also gains these corruption points. Or here the elven robe gives also corruption points, and normally the more powerful the items are, the more corruption points you get. And so that makes it pretty dangerous for the single characters to carry too many items, because if you have to make a test against the corruption value and you fail that test, this character and all items you have are lost. So if Palando would fail that test, game is over, because, well, I am this character actually. Still, I think I'm gonna risk it because he has no items, so he just has to roll higher than 2. And, well, I hope this will be possible. Actually, to be completely sure what I could do, and I'm gonna do that, I can help him with corruption checks. So this guy taps and tries to help Palando with his check, so he can subtract 1 from the result, and then he doesn't have to roll. So this attack is successfully cancelled, but we don't get the points either. Okay, so now these people traveled successfully to the city of the Woodmen, and we have to go back to 6 cards, so we have to discard 1 card. I'm not sure, I think it's gonna be this card here, because I need a special dagger to use that card, and because we don't have this dagger, we can simply discard it. Okay. And then we're still in the travel phase, and it's now the second party, and they are moving to Bourvidou. And they also move from a haven, so they can also take a side path. This one is much more dangerous. You got 4 wilderness and a borderland. And I can draw 3 cards here. So this is 1. This would help me either with a corruption check or with an influence check. And that is a 2. That's a great picture too. And it's you can play this card if you are attacked by a dragon, but we don't need that right now. And then we draw the 3rd card. Also great artwork here. This is something I have to say anyway. I think this game has a wonderful artwork. Maybe it's definitely one of the games with the most beautiful artwork I own. I mean, it's just absolutely awesome. Some of these guys are famous Tolkien illustrators. So if you see these things, it's just great. So this is, I'm just wondering here. Okay, so that's basically a pretty complicated way to cancel an attack. Okay, so and now the hazard cards are drawn, and this time there are actually 12 cards. So this is gonna be dangerous. And just by the way, as you can see, this location is in the southern Rovanian. So it's here. We're moving here. And it's not marked on the map because it's a location from an expansion. And these are just the locations on the base game which are marked here on the map. But it doesn't matter because you have the region where it is here on the card. So let's see now. We have this guy here, for example, Mumak Olifant. Okay, so this is a very bad, very dangerous guy. And he can be played in some regions. But we're lucky, can't be played here. It's not far away actually. If we were here, for example, then it could be played, but not here. Okay, so that's not the case, but this could be played. Long Winter. We had to go back to our starting destination. If there are 2 wilderness on our way, which is the case, we have actually 4 wilderness on our way. If we don't have a ranger with us, so let me see, is there a ranger? Yes, this guy, Waldläufer, that means ranger. So this card is not dangerous for us. We're lucky here. Okay, let's go on. Okay, this is definitely a bad card. Yeah. Okay, so he could play that on an elven character, and that says player has to roll if the result plus the not used influence, and this is a problem because we only have one influence point which is not used. If this result is lower than 10, then you have to take the card of the character on your hand. Okay, well, the character is not eliminated, which is good, and you can play him again, which is also good, but well, you lose him for this turn, and that's definitely a problem. So that is an interesting card. This is pretty painful. And that is a lure card, Lure of Nature, and well, that might be also interesting. You can play these cards, and basically they simply give you corruption points, and depending on the kind of the lure card, you have to roll against the corruption value. Lure of Nature means every time you travel through a wilderness region, you have to roll for that corruption value. So that's also an interesting card. We got this one. Actually, this might help to cancel cards. We got this one, which is pretty dangerous if you got the one ring, but we don't have that one. And here we have a dragon, the Great Etangast, one of the strongest dragons. There are some forms of appearance. They can be a hunt, they can be at home, or it's just the normal card Etangast. This time it's Etangast at home, and this would be a permanent event, so his home side would have an amazingly strong attack. I'm not sure if I want to play that, maybe I will, I'm not sure. This is Pestilence. Let me see. So basically you play this card on a character, and then every other character who is with him on the same location has to roll against his buddy. So that might be also an interesting card. This is Foul Fumes. That simply makes it harder to travel through dark domains or shadow holes. But this is not the case here. Okay, what is that? That's interesting. You can play that on a human or on a troll. So they're both, we don't have a human or a troll here. And that is the same as we had before, just a different artwork. Plague of the Ghosts, actually. You could play that, maybe I will. And this one, also great artwork. The sun shone fiercely. Okay, that's a long event. And this is actually more interesting if you play with the bad guys. It's also possible to play this game, this game with Sauron, and then there are some cards which are pretty bad against him, but this is not the case here. So I think it's going to be 2 of these 4 cards, and well, I guess I simply take this card here, which makes undead attacks stronger. So this is a long event. I place it here. And then I'm gonna play this card here, Call of the Sea, and all the other cards are discarded. So now Elrond has to roll, and there's just one free influence, because we have 19 and you have this free influence of 20, and we need a 10. So we now need to roll a 9, otherwise Elrond goes back onto his hand, onto my hand. Well, that's a 3. By the way, notice this beautiful die here with the Eye of Sauron. So that's a 3, and Elrond goes back on the hand. The good thing is he's not eliminated, so we don't get these -3 marshalling points, but still we're losing these 3 marshalling points that were already on the table, of course. So now he's on the hand, and well, we have to discard a lot of cards now, because we have to get down on 6. Okay. By the way, after I took Trine, I forgot to replenish here this line of characters, and I'm allowed now to draw a new strong character, because there is always 1 strong and 4 weak characters. So let's see. Okay, this is Galadriel. I also love the artwork of her. Really beauty. And well, she is not a good fighter, but she's got a lot of professions. She's got a lot of free influence here, 4 influence, and she's really hard to kill. Still, I doubt that I will play her. Okay, so now these guys are here on the city of the Woodmen, and there is nothing special happening here, so we now can simply try to influence these guys. So this is this faction here, and it says, well, this first line says where it can be played, and then you need an influence roll of at least 8. Okay, if you are a human, you gain 1. You can add 1 to that roll. So influence rolls work in a pretty simple way. Each character has this influence here. For example, this guy has a 2, this guy has a 10, this guy has a 1, and so on. If you are under the control of another character, like this guy, Adrazar, he's under the control of Palando, then you can't use your influence. This influence is then 0. And if Palando controls a character, like he does, he controls Adrazar, then he has to subtract the mind of Adrazar, which is 3, from his influence points, which are 10. So now he has a free influence of 7. And then he simply takes that value, rolls 2 dice, and adds the free influence to that. And if it's at least 8 in this case, then he was successful and he would get the faction and the 2 marshalling points. And because he has already 7 and we would roll at least a 2. We don't have to roll here, so we can take the 2 points. Very good. And now, every time you take something from a location, this location is tapped, so you can't go there, you can't take anything else out of here. If you then leave the location after you've tapped it, then it's discarded and you can't even go there anymore. So now it's Thrain. Remember, he traveled with Elrond to here to Borovidor, but then Elrond, well, he thought about sailing away and simply left him. So now he's got to try alone to get this sort of bravery. And here it's a little different, because here you see it's an automatic attack. And it says Troll, 1 strike with combat value 10. So, and then I take a look at these special cards. Are there any cards which would make it harder for me to fight there? No, this is not the case. So now I have to fight that troll. The problem is, if I fight that troll with Thrain and I tap Thrain, it would be easy to kill the troll, because Thrain has a 7 and I just need a 3 to do so. But then I already had my action. And then, after killing the troll, I could not grab the sword, because this would be another action. That's why it's good to travel with more than one person to a site. So now Thrain has another possibility. He can try to do the fighting without tapping, but this gives him a penalty of -3. So that makes it much harder. That means he only has a combat value now of 4, and he's got to beat the 10. So he needs a 6. A tie would be enough. So let's roll. And that is just a 6. So actually I'm gonna check if a tie is really enough. So I think it's good enough to have a tie, because in the rules I could only found that you have to encounter the automatic attack, and not that you have to defeat it, because to defeat an attack would mean you have to roll higher than the combat value. But if you encounter this attack and you are not wounded, which would be the case if I had rolled lower, so if it's a tie, nothing actually happens. The attack is encountered, and Thrain is not tapped or wounded, so he can now enter the location, and he can now take this sword of bravery. Okay. No, he can't. Okay, that was stupid. I made an important error here. Great. The problem is, this is a... Okay, wonderful. This is a dragon item. You can only get this item in a dragon hoard, because it's a treasure of a dragon. And I simply didn't see that. So that was a stupid mistake. Anyway, what I could do is, you can always play these minor items. And you can play them everywhere, actually. So I can take this elven robe, Right now that doesn't bring me any points, but if I fight a creature and I defeat that creature, then I could use my Elven Robe to bring my creature to a haven, and there I could discard this card, and I have then these 3 points in addition to the points of the defeated creature. So that might be an idea to try something like that. Just make a prisoner, bring him to a haven, and get some points. So that's what I try to do. Now the character is tapped. Oh, and I forgot to tap Palando when he influenced the faction. So it wasn't exactly what I was hoping, because I made this error here, and I have to roll now for another location where I could grab this this treasure actually. Okay, so this sword is now here at the Lonely Mountain. As we all know, there is a dragon called Smaug, and so it's very dangerous to go there. But it's not so far away actually, so maybe I can consider it. I have to think about that. Now we have to replenish these victory point cards, so we draw 2 cards. And this is another faction, the Elves of Lindon. Well, you can play them here on the other side of the map, on Lindon, so that is not actually so great. And the other one is, well, this is Eyeglass, and that is a great item, very powerful item, gives you 5 points. The problem is, you can play this only at an Underdeep Darkhold or Shadowhold. So we're gonna determine where this can be played, but this is gonna be very, very dangerous to do. Okay, so Eyeglass is playable here, and this is a very dangerous location. It's actually that dangerous that if you enter it and you get out alive, you get 3 additional victory points. It's the only location in the game which would allow you this, but it's hard to get there because it's an underdeep. That means it's not on the surface, on above the earth. You have to go down, and it's, well, as I said, it's not so easy to get there because you can't go down there directly, so it makes it all a little harder. In these underdeep locations you can play actually 2 items, so I'm gonna draw which additional item can be played there. And that's awesome. This is Belegenon, but this is a dragon item, so this can't be played there. This is not possible. Another dragon item. Let's go through. Okay, these are all special items. It's sometimes hard to find something here. Nope. Nope. Uh-huh. Nope. Wait. Okay, I now got my item. It's the red arrow. It's a major item, and you can play this item here together with Eyeglass. But to play both items at the same time, you have to be there with 2 heroes at least. So, and now actually this turn is over. So let me see, how many points do we have? It's now 1 point, 3 more points, so that would be 4 points, 5, 7 points. Well, if we bring Elrond back into the game, then we are at 10. And maybe we can do this thing here with the Elven Rope. So, could be 13 points under special circumstances. It's not bad, actually. Yeah, and if we do this whole action successfully, then these might be 10 points. So, well, we might have a chance to make it. So, I think I'm going to load it up now and see you in the next turn.